Are you sitting comfortably? Then let us begin. Let them tell you a story. Let's read.
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight the real virus, but to shape the system.
The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call. It is imperative that we reimagine, rebuild, redesign, reinvigorate, and rebalance our world. Rebalancing investment, harnessing science and technology, and advancing the transition to net zero emissions, all elements of the Great Reset, are fundamental to building the future we need.
We will now start a quite high number of task forces.
We have an incredible opportunity to create entirely new sustainable industries, investing in nature as the true engine of our economy.
The current global crisis has disrupted every aspect of our lives, but it has also presented us with an extraordinary opportunity, a chance to reset and accelerate efforts to improve the state of our world.
Changing our current trajectory will require bold and imaginative action, together with determination and decisive leadership. In order to secure our future and to prosper, we need to evolve our economic model, putting people and planet at the heart of global value creation. If there is one critical lesson we have to learn from this crisis, we need to put nature at the heart of how we operate. We are on the verge of catalytic breakthroughs that will alter our view of what is possible and profitable within the framework of a sustainable future. We need nothing short of a paradigm shift, one that inspires action at revolutionary levels and pace. We simply cannot waste any more time. The only limit is our willingness to act. And the time to act is now.
Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially. Anyone who's responsible for that many deaths. If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives. And so, folks, I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan. This is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter. A dark winter. A dark winter.
We have our generals lined up, one in particular that's the head of logistics, and this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine, and we expect to have 100 million vials. As soon as we have the vaccine, he's ready to go. And now I recovered. 99.9 of young people recover. 99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have to open our school, and we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation. We're not going to have a country.
What I would do is make sure we have everyone encouraged to wear a mask all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing, rapid testing, rapid testing, rapid testing, rapid testing. You folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning. That man or wife going to bed tonight and reaching over to try to touch their, out of habit, where their wife or husband was, is gone. Learning to live with it. Come on. We're dying with it. You need to be able to, for example, if you're going to open a business, have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if you have a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one another. You need to be in a position where you can take testing rapidly and know whether a person is in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to provide all the resources that are needed to do this. And that is not inconsistent with saying that what we're going to make sure that we can open safely. And by the way,
we're not going to have a country.
So don't worry about it. Come on. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. All you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it.
The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. I think you owe an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family, but what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
My name is Tony Bobolinsky. I served as a lieutenant in the United States Navy with high security clearance. My father and grandfather both served for decades in our country's armed forces. Since leaving the Navy, I've been involved in various successful businesses, both in this country and abroad. I'm making this statement to set the record straight about the involvement of the Biden family, Vice President Biden, his brother Jim Biden, and his son Hunter Biden.
I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. Number one.
Number one. Number two, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're not, but you're the big man, I think.
On May 13, 2017, I received an email concerning allocation of equity, which says 10% held by H for the big guy. In that email, there's no question that H stands for Hunter, big guy for his father, Joe Biden, and Jim for Jim Biden.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life.
In fact, Hunter often referred to his father as the big guy or my chairman.
Come on, folks.
The kind of things that you've done and the kind of monies that your family has taken. I mean, your brother made money in Iraq, millions of dollars. Your other brother made a fortune, and it's all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it, and you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China?
Sinohawk.
I have not had it. The only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
And the American people can judge for themselves. I brought, I guess, for record, 3 phones that spanned the years 2015 through 2018. These phones have never been held by anybody else besides myself. I've never been political. The few contributions I have made have been to Democrats. But what I am is a patriot and a veteran.
He is the Vice President of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother are getting rich. They're like a vacuum cleaner.
We do
Not
need to
true.
move on.
We are making sure that in order to do business in China, you have to give all your intellectual property. You have to have a partner in China. It's 51%. We would not do that at all, number one. Number two, we're in a situation where China would have to play by the rules internationally as well. But the point is this, folks.
In late 2015, I was approached by James Gillier, whom I had known for many years, about joining him in a deal which he said would involve the Chinese state-owned enterprise, CEFC China Energy, and what he called one of the most prominent families in the United States. I was informed first by Gillier, and then by Hunter Biden, and by Rob Walker, who was working with the Bidens, that the Bidens wanted to form a new entity with CFC, which was to invest in infrastructure, real estate, and technology in the U.S. and around the world. And the entity would initially be capitalized with $10 million and then grow to billions of dollars of investment capital. After months of discussion, I agreed at Gillier and Hunter Biden's request to become CEO of the entity to be called Sinohawk. Sino representing the Chinese side, Hawk representing Hunter Biden's brother Beau's favorite animal. And between February and May 2017, we exchanged numerous emails, documents, and WhatsApp messages concerning Sinohawk and its potential business. On May 2nd, 2017, the night before Joe Biden was to appear at the Milken Conference, I was introduced to Joe Biden by Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. At my approximately hour-long meeting with Joe that night, we discussed the Biden's history, the Biden's family business plans with the Chinese, with which he was plainly familiar, at least at a high level. After that meeting, I had numerous communications with Hunter, Walker, Gillier, and Jim Biden regarding the allocation of the equity ownership of Sinohawk.
Come on, folks.
On numerous occasions, it was made clear to me that Joe Biden's involvement was not to be mentioned in writing, but only face-to-face. In fact, I was advised by Gillier and Walker that Hunter and Jim Biden were paranoid about keeping Joe Biden's involvement secret.
We are talking a lot about struggling small businesses and business owners these days. Do you think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum wage? You, of course, support a $15 federal minimum wage.
I do, because I think one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bail them out, too. We should be bailing them out now, those small businesses. You got 1 in 6 of them going under. They're not going to be able to make it back. You know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place. The character of the country is on the ballot. Our character is on the ballot. Look at us closely.
And what about fracking?
I never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. No new fracking. A transition from the oil industry, yes.
No new fracking. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends.
No new fracking. The fact of the matter is he's flat lying.
Would you rule out banning fracking?
I do rule out banning fracking because the answer, we need other industries to transition to get to ultimately a complete zero emissions by 2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money in doing it. But it's a transition to that.
To ensure that we do not fall back to old recipes.
We say what the, you say frack. What the frack? What the frack? We say what the, you say frack. What the frack? What the frack? Fracking rich support the essence of our land, destroying the earth, and we gotta get it banned. Lily gallons of water with deadly compounds. I'll push into the earth to get the gas they found, but it poisons the water and it poisons the air, poisons the people. Do you think that is fair? Government has corrupted the way that we think. Because of fracking, people can light up their sinks. They're fracking, and then cracking the earth. Is the fracking destruction really worse? Endangering the future of our awesome planet with all the children and the animals in it. Natural gas is the way to go, because if they keep on fracking, the earth is gonna blow. It's a dangerous bridge away from fossil fuels. If we want a future with renewables, the natural gas companies think money's all they need. I'll make your children sick because of their greed. But what will happen when the rivers no longer flow? Where the fields they used to prosper no longer grow? What will happen when they know that it's all their fault? Cause when you frack the earth, you're gonna frack us all. They say natural gas is better than coal. It's making more pollution and ain't a good solution. They're fracking and they're cracking cracking the earth is a fracking destruction really worth endangering the future of our awesome planet with all the children and the animals in it. The natural gas isn't the way to go because if they keep on fracking the earth is gonna blow. It's a dangerous bridge away from fossil fuels. If we want a future with renewables, when we say what the you say frack, what the frack, what the frack. When we say what the you say frack, what the frack, what the frack. When we say what the you say frack, what the 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 frack. That's near mix from came through a town. It became a huge problem with all the fracking was around. Overflow the rivers and flood the plains. Sipping fracking tanks, spreading chemicals through the rain. Carcinogenic toxins and endocrine disruptors are flowing downstream and are poisoning the water. Safe fracking exists only in fairy tale dreams. Nothing cultural sources new. Climate exchange is form of destruction overruns our system like a virus. Brainwashed by fracking movement, we are battling a crisis. The last hope that we've got, our last chance to fight is to rally the people. We must all unite. They're fracking and then cracking the earth is a fracking destruction really worth endangering the future of our awesome planet with all the children and the animals in it. Natural gas isn't the way to go because if they keep on fracking the earth is gonna blow. It's a dangerous bridge away from fossil fuels. If we want a future we need renewables. Fracking and climate change walk hand in hand. If we don't stop the snow we'll destroy our land. Kids are getting sick wherever they frack. It's time to stand together and take our planet back. We need everyone to come unite and ban it, and together we can get the fracking off this planet. Watch out, gas companies, we're closing you down, cause we wanna get the fracking out of our towns. They're fracking, and they're cracking the earth is a fracking destruction really worth endangering the future of our awesome planet with all the children and the animals in it. Natural gas isn't the way to go because if they keep on fracking the earth it's gonna blow. It's a dangerous bridge away from fossil fuels. If we want a future we need renewables. What the frack?
He was against fracking. He said it. I will show that to you tomorrow. I am against fracking. Until he got the nomination, went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania? He'll be against it very soon because his party is totally against it.
I'm not banning fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else. And I can protect Pennsylvania jobs, period. No matter how many times Donald Trump lies, he's never delivered on his promise for a big infrastructure plan. He told you in 17, I've got an infrastructure plan coming. And then 18, 19, and 20. He hadn't done a thing.
Last time at the first debate, we had millions of people fact-checking, so I expect we'll have millions more fact-checking because, you know, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton. You know, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. I'm showing you some old footage. And for those of you that still believe in the political system, do you recall that Donald Trump, the guy standing right there in this particular debate and several others, kept talking about the 33,000 emails and how he was going to send Hillary to jail. He was going to get a special prosecutor and attorney generals and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then right after he is selected to be the president of the corporation of the United States of America, this happens.
Very honored, very, very honored when I heard that President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton was coming today. And I think it's appropriate to say, and I'd like you to stand up. I'd like you to stand up. And honestly, there's nothing more I can say because I have a lot of respect for those two people. So thank you all for being here.
So do you see what I'm saying? It's complete and total nonsense. Complete and total nonsense. Look at these creepy, heavily make-upped, hair all puffed up, soulless scum elitists clapping and quacking and praising each other say anything to get elected, say what the people want to hear, and as soon as they become whatever they're trying to become, they stick to the script. And I'm going to show you exactly why. This is something that you need to see. I've shown this before. I'm going to show it again because it's important. This is who Trump is, and this is who he serves. I've shown you this when he got elected, selected, and I'm going to remind you. I've shown you this list before, and many other YouTube channels have shown you videos that cover this exclusively. But who is Michael Cohen? The Trump Organization, Executive Vice President and Special Counsel. And, well, that's probably just one, right? Well, let's look at Gil Deezer. President Trump, Deezer Development. Michael Deezer. You seeing a theme here? Because it's going to keep going. Alan Fishman. His largest lender. Alan Garten. Executive Vice President and General Counsel, the Trump Organization. Michael Glassner. Are you catching on here? So do the moves that Trump's been making make sense to you now? This is a complete and total 100% takeover of everything that we've ever known and loved. Whether we knew what it was or wasn't, it's going to become painfully obvious what everything is going to become. The New World Order. The New World Order is these people, just like it's always been since the days they nailed Yahushua to a cross. Do you see what I'm saying? You can argue it, you can deny it, you can hold on to hope as much as you want, but at some point you've got to open your eyes and understand exactly what it is that's going on in our lifetime. We are the generation. I can't stress it enough. Do you think it's a complete and total coincidence that everyone's suddenly getting stifled and silenced on YouTube? A channel with 340,000 subscribers, and I'm lucky if a video gets 10,000 views? There's a reason for that.
We have to live up to the expectations which we have created, and we will do so.
Hello, I'm Elke de Klerk from the Netherlands, and I want to state that we do not have a medical pandemic or epidemic. We also state that COVID-19 should not be on list A for any longer, because we now know that it is a normal flu virus, and the normal flu virus isn't on list A. So we are also starting a lawsuit to the state of the Netherlands to bring this in with a large group of doctors and a really large group of nurses also, because we have contact with 87,000 nurses that do not want the vaccine that is being prepared for us. I want to state, if there is no pandemic, I am wondering why our kids are in schools with masks. There's absolute constitutional rights, and they cannot be infringed or infringed for any medical reason. There's no reason for panic. Also in the medical practice, there's no reason for panic. The panic is created by these false positive PCR tests. 89% until 94% of those PCR tests are false positive. They don't test for the COVID-19, and also the rest is false negative. So we have to look at clinics. We have to start looking at clinic. Medical doctors have to stop looking at those tests. That's very important. Let's go back to the clinics and to the facts. We have in the Netherlands now the regular press publishing the news that the PCR test is not a correct test. So I'm very happy about that. So there's hope. Thank you.
Statistics have come out that up until April 2020, there was 0 deaths in Ireland. These are the official statistics from the CSO, the Central Statistics Office. The first death was in April, and in the whole country in 2020, we have 98 deaths out of 5 million people. So in Ireland, 30,000 people die every year, 10,000 from cardiovascular disease, 10,000 from cancer. The 98 deaths in Ireland are preventable if they had been given prevention and treatment. And we see now that probably there will be thousands more deaths in Ireland just from cancer and cardiovascular.
Yeah, Kim and Devin. So in the U.S., 4 vaccines have reached the final stage of testing, known as Phase 3. Of those 4, Pfizer has indicated that it is likely to be the first manufacturer ready to apply for an emergency use authorization for its vaccine, and that could happen as early as next month. In an open letter from its CEO, Pfizer said it expects to be ready to apply for public use of its coronavirus vaccine candidate in the 3rd week of November, if everything goes according to plan. The company said it is, quote, operating at the speed of science, with safety as its #1 priority. Pfizer launched its Phase 3 trial on July 27th. It includes nearly 40,000 volunteers so far, with another 4,000 still being enrolled. Now, last week, Pfizer received permission from the FDA to enroll volunteers as young as age 12. The trial also includes volunteers with chronic conditions like HIV, hepatitis C, and hepatitis B. The vaccine is given in 2 doses, 28 days apart. Some trial participants receive the actual vaccine, the rest receive a placebo. Neither the researchers nor the participants know which group received which. Researchers must then wait until a certain number of participants become infected with COVID-19. Ultimately, they'll compare the groups to see if fewer of the participants who received the actual vaccine got infected. Stricter guidelines recently issued by the FDA require vaccine developers to follow participants for a median of 2 months after their final dose before submitting any data. The data will eventually be reviewed by the FDA scientists and an independent panel of experts. Now, the other 2 trials involving vaccines from AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson are currently paused while the FDA investigates an illness in a participant. All of these companies are working closely with the FDA, and they have been throughout the process to make sure that they're gathering everything that the agency is going to want as they go. Yeah. But there will be a great deal of scrutiny on all of this data, and realistically, it will likely take a few weeks at a minimum.
Moderna.
Moderna's CEO recently revealed what could happen if its vaccine isn't showing results by November. What is Moderna's timeline here?
Right. So, Alexis, what we know is that Moderna has repeatedly said that they will likely get the first basically set of data indicating whether or not this vaccine works effectively and is safe by November, by Thanksgiving Day, but recently indicated that, if that doesn't happen, the company would have to push out by about a month how much time it would take to then get the relevant data. And that would push its authorization to next year if all of that happens. So if it doesn't meet that sort of Thanksgiving deadline, we could see Moderna, which, as we know, started off pretty strong in this race and was first for quite some time. It could push back to being next year. And that leaves just Pfizer with BioNTech as the only one that is likely to get a vaccine authorization by the end of this year.
AstraZeneca.
Scientists at this London hospital are preparing to deliberately infect volunteers with the coronavirus to test the effectiveness of vaccines and treatments. The so-called challenge trial is much faster than what's happening now, with volunteers around the world who live normally at home and may or may not ever become infected. In a challenge trial, infection is guaranteed. Sophie Rose, a student at Johns Hopkins University studying in the UK, wants to take part.
The best way to tackle this problem is to start with these trials in a young, healthy population where the risk is lower.
What happens if one of these volunteers dies?
A volunteer in the trial of the COVID-19 vaccine being developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford University has died in Brazil. Brazil's health authority said on Wednesday that although the volunteer had died, the trial would continue. So far, 8,000 people have been given the first dose of the vaccine in 6 cities in Brazil, which is grappling with one of the world's worst outbreaks of the disease. A source familiar with the matter told Reuters that the volunteer who died was likely to have been part of a control group that did not receive the COVID-19 vaccine, suggesting that the volunteer was instead given a meningitis jab. Oxford University confirmed that testing would continue, adding that after careful assessment, quote, there have been no concerns about the safety of the clinical trial.
So when these sorts of trials are designed, they are definitely informed and it is acknowledged that there is a risk of death.
The first step, infect 90 volunteers 18 to 30 years old with the minimum required to get them sick enough to then test vaccines or treatments, but not enough to make them seriously ill. Some researchers object on ethical grounds.
They inject healthy volunteers with a virus for which we have no cure at the moment. If we would have a cure, an effective treatment, I would be all for it.
The challenge trials still need approval here in the UK, but that is expected to be granted. They could start as early as January.
But AstraZeneca declined to comment immediately. This follows a pause in trials of the vaccine last month when a patient in the UK fell ill. The trial resumed days later, but is still on hold in the US.
Novavax.
Johnson & Johnson. need a shot. But do you really wanna keep your job? I keep saying that this won't happen to me, 'cause I'm free, and I'm free, and my body and my choice, but too scared to use my voice. I keep saying that this won't happen to me, 'cause I'm free, and I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. I keep saying that this won't happen to me. I don't judge you, so don't judge me. I don't wanna be A-C-C-I-N-E. With my voice, my body, I keep saying that this won't happen to me, 'cause I'm free, I'm free. My body and my choice, but too scared to raise my voice. I keep saying that this won't happen to me, 'cause I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. I keep saying that this won't happen to me, 'cause I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. I don't judge you, so don't judge me.
We will succeed. We should take comfort. Better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again.
Now, you'll have to forgive me, because I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I got a couple questions about the horrible things that have been going on in our world. If PCR works, why all the false positives? If masks work, why the 6 feet? If 6 feet works, why the masks? If all 3 work, why the lockdowns? If all 4 work, why the vaccines? If the vaccines work, why the no liability clause? And if convids really exists, why hasn't it been shown to be isolated, purified, verified, and visualized? And just one more question. If mainstream media is filled with all these journalists who are out there speaking truth to power, why did it take a backwoods country bumpkin YouTuber to bring up some basic questions about the tyrannical actions of psychopaths who are literally out there enacting policies that are ruining tens of millions of lives? Now, these are just questions, and again, I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I know my world's falling apart, and I know some of these questions need to be answered.
Following nearly 4 months in lockdown, the government of Victoria decided that with the virus broadly under control, non-essential businesses could reopen once again.
Indoor, there will be a maximum of 20 people seated. Outdoor, a maximum of 50 people, with 1 person per 2 square metres. Beauty, personal services and tattooing, provided you can wear a mask, will reopen.
But while Victorians can now eat out, not everything is quite back to normal, with gyms not due to reopen until the 8th of November. For many months, Melbourne was the epicentre of the virus in Australia, accounting for more than 90% of the Commonwealth's death toll. And there are still close to 100 people in the state of Victoria known to have COVID-19, meaning officials are keen to stress that people should still be cautious going about their daily lives. After the pandemic began, Victorians were only allowed to travel within a 5-kilometre radius of their homes. Now that's been extended to 25 kilometres. State borders across Australia were closed as well, but the federal government says it's hopeful that travel restrictions can be fully lifted in time for the Christmas holidays.
But it's not over. The virus is not gone. It is still there. And if we don't prove as stubborn as it, then it will be back.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. And don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. You don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I never say. Don't tell me what to say. Don't tell me what to do. So please let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young, and I love to be young. I'm free, and I love to be free. To live my life the way that I want. To say and do whatever I please.
Victoria Police have arrested 16 people and issued 96 notices after hundreds of anti-lockdown protesters took to the streets of Melbourne. Under current restrictions, protests are not considered illegal, but gatherings of more than 10 are. Protesters holding flagpoles and signs attacked mounted police officers and horses as tension boiled over the Shrine of Remembrance. After officers formed a ring of steel around the group, protesters reconvened in South Melbourne, throwing flares and striking a police van. Authorities condemn the shameful behaviour.
It's not safe, it's unlawful, and it is, frankly, shameful that anyone would seek to protest any issue at such a special place.
Don't bother smiling at me because I can't fucking see your face, yeah? I have no idea. Don't bother. Don't fucking walk outside, yeah? And have these beautiful surroundings and suffocate yourself with a fucking mask, yeah? Don't do it. And if you're gonna do it, stay the fuck inside. Don't ever come out because you might die. I am fucking so angry today. I hate... Fuck. I'm not always angry. But I hate my city right now. I hate the fucking compliant zombies. It's beautiful outside. People are suffocating themselves. I can't see your face anymore, I don't know. God damn it, please. Fuck. How does this not affect others? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? I promise I'm not upset all the time. But when I am upset,
I wanna walk outside past 9. I wanna play live music and feel alive, but your silence is deafening. Their presence is threatening. So say something. Say something. And people call me brave for speaking out and speaking up. It's not that I am brave, it's just that I don't give a fuck. Why should I care about the things that I say? I won't stay silent, I won't be quiet. And why should I care about the things that I say? I was never cool enough to get any real airplay anyway. They wanna walk outside past 9. They wanna play live music and feel alive, but your silence is deafening and their presence is threatening. So say something. Say something. I'm not scared of losing fake friends online, but I'm fucking terrified of sitting back and watching my real friends die. They wanna walk outside past 9. They wanna play live music and feel alive. So smile for the cameras, cause everybody's watching. And Melbourne, you're a big shot and everybody's laughing. Now everybody knows your name. And everybody knows your name. But your silence is deafening and their presence is threatening. So say something. Say something.